Chapter 126, Automatic Breakthrough. His skin was red. His exhaled breaths became arrows. Eyes shining. It was not a figurative description. They were really like electric lamps that emitted a blinding light. It was clear that he could not go out in this state. Su Jingxing could only apply for 3 days leave. In these 3 days, he tempered his true energy while using the ghost python breath-holding technique to restrain his uncontrollable aura and vital energy. Fortunately, the level of the ghost python breath-holding technique was high enough and its ability was outstanding. Su Jingxing didn't sleep or rest. It took him 2 days and 2 nights to take care of this. Now that he had reduced the anomalies in his body due to the rapid growth of his true energy, Su Jingxing had learned his lesson from advancing rashly this time. Although he could increase his true energy without limits with the help of the 9 steps trampling heaven, the consequences of doing so too quickly would still be unavoidable. Smoke rising from the top of his head and his eyes glowing were still fine. But if his ears, nose and limbs were to become bigger one day, that would be a pain in the ass. At the end of the day, it was safer to proceed step by step in whatever he did. Excess is just as bad as deficiency. It might cause serious trouble in the future. Of course, not many people could be like Su Jingxing, stepping into the 6th grade before the age of 16 and possessing true energy cultivation of more than 300 years. Su Jingxing had asked the ethereal sword immortal before. On the surface, the lifespan of a 1st grade powerhouse, the highest level martial artists could reach, was the same as that of ordinary people. They could live up to 120 years at most. That was 2 cycles of 60 years. In the past 100 years, through the use of heavenly treasures and high-level internal exercises, the highest level of true energy cultivation attained was 100 years. Above that was true essence. After all, true essence was a qualitative change in true energy, and it was even stronger. Martial artists in the top ranks paid particular attention to their true essence cultivation. True energy cultivation was the characteristic of martial artists in the middle ranks. According to what the ethereal sword immortal had revealed, the true essence cultivation of a 1st grade expert was generally around 100 years too. 300 years, regardless of whether it was true essence or true energy, Su Jingxing was probably the first. After much effort, Su Jingxing managed to control himself. While he went to work, he continued to temper himself at night. Repeated tempering of his true energy was like building a foundation, and the stronger the foundation, the better. Others were anxious to make a breakthrough, but Su Jingxing wasn't. Putting aside the mysteries of 9 steps trampling heaven, just the true energy cards he extracted were enough for Su Jingxing to feel at ease and slowly strengthen his foundation. Except, after Su Jingxing had taken half a month to refine his 300 years of heaven trampling true energy 9 times, the true energy in his dantian had automatically turned into mist. True energy turns into mist. This was a characteristic of 5th grade. I didn't want to break through, but I did. Su Jingxing didn't know what to say. He had wanted to wait, but his realm didn't wait for him and advanced by itself. Is it because I have too much true energy? After regaining his composure, Su Jingxing thought to himself while accepting the truth. Since his true energy had turned into mist on its own, it should have nothing to do with the 9 steps trampling heaven he cultivated. Even if it did, the 9 steps trampling heaven most likely played a very small role. The real reason was probably due to the excessive true energy that he had accumulated was too much, and exceeded 300 years. A qualitative change brought about by a complete change in quantity. To put it simply, Su Jingxing's 6th grade foundation couldn't be any more secure. So secure that his realm advanced to the next level by itself. Su Jingxing was relieved after thinking through all these. With the most stable 5th grade foundation, it would be much easier to break through to 4th grade. Of course, it would be best if it is another automatic breakthrough. Cough cough. Su Jingxing was secretly delighted. At this moment, a soft sound came from the phone he had set aside, indicating that he had received a message. Su Jingxing picked up his phone and unlocked it. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. The next moment, he used an anonymous number to dial Shen Qian's number. When the call connected, he quickly asked, "What's the situation?" "We don't know the details." Shen Qian answered on the other end. "At first, we thought that we were caught because our whereabouts were leaked. However, after Yi Yunru and Kai Gongxian were caught, we realized that something was wrong. After careful analysis, we confirmed that the Shi family was deliberately luring us. Yi Yunru and Kai Gongxian had tracked the traces left behind by the Shi family. They followed them all the way and finally fell into the Shi family's trap and were captured. Are you sure they were captured and not killed? Su Jingxing lowered his voice. Yes, Shen Qian said in a more serious tone. All of our remaining martial artists have installed a heartbeat tracker in our bodies, the kind that is embedded in our skin. Through the tracker, we can determine whether a person is dead or alive. As long as Yi Yunru and Kai Gongxian keep silent, no one will know that there is a little gadgetry hidden under their skin. With the help of this little gadgetry, not only will we know whether they are dead or alive, we will also be able to lock onto their movements and their final location. Where are they now? Su Jingxing asked. On a mountain peak that is part of the peripheral peaks northeast of the Green Cloud mountain range. Shen Qian replied, I've asked Xiaomao to mark the exact location on a map and send it to you. Alright, I'll take a look first. Su Jingxing hung up and turned on his computer. He first received an email, then opened it and looked at the route on the map. As expected, the Shi family was up to something again. For the past 2 weeks, Su Jingxing had been receiving news about the Shi family from Shen Qian. Firstly, all the members of the Shi family were holed up, staying in their estate all day long. After that, the various factions sent many people to infiltrate the estate and investigate the situation, but none of those people came out. Furthermore, the Shi family was selling their businesses to the outside world, and it seemed like they no longer planned to stay in Qinghe City. Finally, Yi Yunru, Kai Gongxian, Yi Juchong, and the remaining dozen or so martial artists of the Stone Annihilation Alliance were deliberately lured and captured by the Shi family. Of course, there was no problem with these people being captured. The problem was that the Shi family did not kill them. This made everyone curious. They found it strange. Members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance had self-destructed in the arena and killed more than 10 Shi descendants. They even cooperated with Su Jingxing and started a duel in the name of the Lin family. Logically speaking, the Shi family should be itching to kill all those martial artists from the alliance. However, the Shi family did not. Instead, they secretly moved them to a mountain peak northeast of Green Cloud mountain range. Su Jingxing, who had already been to the Turtleback mountain that was southeastern of the Green Cloud mountain range, had no doubt that Yi Yunru, Kai Gongxian, Yi Juchong, and the others were currently held at another secret base of the Shi family. Why did the Shi family lock them up in the secret base? Something is wrong. There is definitely something going on here. Su Jingxing stared at the final location on the map for a while and decided to go take a look. Saving people was a matter of convenience. Getting to the bottom of the Shi family's conspiracy was secondary. Killing a group of Shi descendants and extracting the bloodline cards was the key. Thunderbolt was just one step away from a complete recovery. There were too many people watching if he were to take action in the city. Outside the city, at the Shi family's secret base, there would be no problem. With Su Jingxing's true energy cultivation of more than 300 years, even if the Shi family had 10 fourth-grade experts, he would still dare to fight. After all, if he couldn't win, would he be afraid of failing to escape? Cough cough. After making his decision, Su Jingxing immediately turned off his computer and prepared to rush there overnight. However, the moment the computer shut down, an idea struck him. Then, he turned on his computer again and went to the official website of the Martial Suppression Office and sent an email to their official email address. The contents of the email included the news of Yi Yunru, Kai Gongxian, Yi Juchong, and other martial artists from the Stone Annihilation Alliance being captured by the Shi family, and that they were locked up on a mountain in the northeast of the Green Cloud mountain range. It also included a map of the route. As for the heartbeat trackers and the like, he didn't mention them. The Martial Suppression Office had sifted out people of the Shi family, and those that remained were all from other major factions. That's right. Su Jingxing had exposed this news not only to inform Li Linzhou, but also to get the other forces spying on the Shi family to join in. The secret base was a secret because no one knew where it was. Now, Su Jingxing exposed its exact location. He refused to believe that the Li, Zhou and Qi families, as well as the other influential factions in Qinghe City wouldn't be tempted and come take a look. Su Jingxing had no doubt that after the Li family received this map and news of martial artists from the Stone Annihilation Alliance being captured, they would definitely associate the final location on the map as the Shi family's other secret base. As long as they came, they would definitely make a move. Su Jingxing couldn't guess how many fourth-grade experts the Shi family had. With the experts from the major family clans and factions, there was no doubt that there would be greater assurance. As for betting that they would take action, it was because Su Jingxing would rush there in advance. The small courtyard at the foot of the mountain was less than 60 kilometers away from the secret base northeast of the Green Cloud mountain range. With Su Jingxing's speed, he would arrive in about 10 minutes. He would arrive first, force his way in, and start a massacre. When Li Linzhou and people from major family clans and factions arrived, Su Jingxing didn't believe that they wouldn't take action and seize the good stuff during the chaos. The secrets, information and items from the Shi family's 100 years of foundation could not be all in the city. A portion of it was placed in a secret base outside the city. That was for sure. As for whether they find the treasures in the end, that had nothing to do with Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing was not very concerned about the safety of Yi Yunru, Kai Gongxian, Yi Juchong and the others either. They were not Ji Duoduo. It was already good enough that Su Jingxing could conveniently save them. They could only blame their bad luck if they do die accidentally. In order to make the chaos bigger, it was best if the Su Jingxing and the people of the major family clans and factions arrived one after another. If their timings were too far apart, accidents might happen. Such accidents could be Su Jingxing running away or someone from the Shi family escaping. However, with experts from the major family clans and factions participating, accidents were basically eliminated. His considerations ended here. After sending the email, Su Jingxing turned off his computer and quickly disguised his appearance. He put on his cloak and mask. Then, he left the small courtyard and waited at the top of a building beside the main road that led out of the city. He waited for half an hour before cars appeared at the intersection. They drove towards the Green Cloud mountain range with their headlights on. Su Jingxing was not in a hurry to move. He was still waiting on the roof. Sure enough, not long after, a second convoy appeared. After a while, a third convoy appeared. Su Jingxing waited until a total of 6 convoys appeared at the intersection before he soared into the sky. He executed the 8 steps rising dragon and flew towards the northeast of the Green Cloud mountain range against the night wind. The journey was unhurried. After all, the mountain paths were long and winding. The cars would take at least an hour to reach the location marked on the map. If Su Jingxing were to arrive early, the probability of an accident was very high. Calculating the time well, and leaving no less than a 10-minute interval would a perfect alliance be formed. That's right, it was an alliance. Temporary allies who would destroy the Shi family secret base and expose their conspiracies. Whoosh! The night wind blew, and the world was desolate. Su Jingxing flew in a straight line in the air. It took him more than 20 minutes to reach his destination. Executing the ghost python breath concealing technique and restraining his aura completely, Su Jingxing first found the entrance to the Shi family's secret base. Then, after about 10 minutes, he circulated 60 years of true energy cultivation and slashed out. Boom! While a loud bang broke the silence in the mountain, he savagely knocked down a wall at the entrance of the base. Amidst the billowing dust, Su Jingxing rushed in with his saber. Who is it? Enemies are invading. Enemies are invading. Where are they? Ah, where are they? Quote. Before Su Jingxing entered, the base was already in chaos. One by one, the guards were roused from their dreams and hurriedly ran around with their guns. To this. Swish, swish, swish. Su Jingxing swung his blade repeatedly. Upwind single slash. Sweeping river army slash. Ascending dragon overlord slash. Who? Saber lights flashed and the blade rang. Ah, ah, ah. Miserable shrieks followed, spreading out of the base and echoing through the silent mountains. The first convoy of cars arrived at the foot of the mountain. Hearing the commotion, the people who alighted from cars quickly grabbed their weapons and guns and dashed up the mountain. Boom, boom. Su Jingxing held a treasure weapon in his hand. As he killed the guards and sacrificial soldiers guarding the base, he destroyed some of the facilities and caused an explosion, causing an even louder commotion. Until he was stopped by a tall old man with a thin face and gloomy eyes. He was holding a longsword that was flickering with a dim light. Stone Annihilator, we haven't even gone to look for you, yet you dare to come here. Killing intent shot out from the old man's eyes as his aura rose steadily. As soon as he finished speaking, he swung the longsword in his hand and it turned into a venomous snake, spitting out sinister and cold true energy and thrusting towards Su Jingxing. Who? Su Jingxing slashed down. Boom. Saber energy and sword energy collided and dissipated. The resulting shockwave crashed into the walls on the two sides and the ground, leaving deep marks. 4th grade. Once an expert made his move, the details were known. The 4th grade realm, the fluctuations of almost 60 years of true energy could not deceive. As a result, even though Su Jingxing didn't know the old man opposite him, he knew that he was a 4th grade expert and the sword technique he used was also the Shi family's ultimate technique. The 9-yin soul-shattering sword. This sword technique was crafty, vicious, fierce, and bone-chillingly cold. Once it entered the body, only the internal exercise that was not masculine and hot could resist it. Even though Su Jingxing managed to defeat it, the chilling aura around him was still there. Energies surged, and Su Jingxing controlled his protective true energy to repel the surrounding aura. At the same time, the treasure weapon in his hand was infused with heaven-trampling true energy as he continued to unleash his second slash. However, the moment he slashed out, he suddenly turned around and released it behind him. Swoosh. Swish. Boom. The saber energy and sword energy whistled through the air simultaneously, colliding with one another and exploding into a ball. The shockwave created by the force swept through the corridor. Dust flew everywhere it passed. Su Jingxing remained in the same spot and stood sideways. Behind him was an old woman with her hair half black and half white. She also held a longsword in her hand as she stared coldly at Su Jingxing. One in front and one behind, an old man and an old woman. 2 4th grades blocked Su Jingxing in the center of the corridor. I knew that the Shi family has quite a few 4th grade martial artists. Faced with the old man and the old woman's converging attack, Su Jingxing did not panic or fear. While he pondered inwardly, he decisively mobilized 100 years of true energy cultivation. Swoosh. First, he slashed at the old man. Ascending Dragon Overlord Slash, Human Origin section of the 3 Origins Saber Art. Boom. The force of 100 years of heaven-trampling true energy gushed out along with the saber technique. It transformed into a massive wave of saber energy in midair and swept out with an unparalleled aura. Before it even got close, shock appeared on the old man's face. In his haste, he didn't dare to hold back any longer. He channeled all of his true energy into his palm and delivered it into the treasure weapon in his hand. With a swing of his long sword, a cold and icy sword aura was born in an instant. It transformed into numerous poisonous snakes that met the violent saber energy head-on. Boom. Boom. The moment the sword energy and saber energy collided, Su Jingxing had already turned around and clashed head-on with the old woman. He did not brandish his treasure weapon. Instead, he executed the 100 Steps King Fist. Similarly, he unleashed 100 years of cultivation to send a punch straight at the old woman. A silvery black fist imprint appeared almost instantly, charging towards the ashen-faced old woman. The old woman brandished the longsword in her hand as sword energy sliced through the air in an attempt to shatter the fist imprint. Unfortunately. Bam. Boom. A dull thud soon followed with an explosion. The surging shockwave swept the airflow and generated rings of visible energies that wreaked havoc in the pathway. The old man and old woman were sent flying by the saber energy and fist imprint one after another. In midair, they vomited blood. Before they fell to the ground, an even faster shockwave wrapped around them. While stirring up their protective true energies, it pushed backwards with an even more aggressive force. With 2 loud bangs, the powerful impact slammed the old man and old woman hard into a metal wall. The terrifying force created a dent in the wall, causing it to deform severely. The old man and the old woman were embedded in the depression. Even though they were still alive, they were unable to move. Disbelief could be seen on their pale faces as blood flowed out from the corners of their mouths. 1 slash. 1 punch. They were all in the 4th grade, yet Su Jingxing had defeated the old man and the old woman with just 1 strike and 1 punch. This result was unacceptable to them. Even though they could sense that the terrifying power contained in Su Jingxing's slash and punch was not something that an ordinary 4th grade martial artist could possess. But it was precisely because of this that the old man and old woman found the outcome difficult to accept. They couldn't figure out how Su Jingxing had cultivated. How could someone's true energy cultivation be so terrifying? The earlier slash and punch contained at least 90 years of cultivation. Or rather, 100 years. 4th grade with 100 years of cultivation. The old man and the old woman's eyes were filled with shock at this thought. Swish, swish. A shrill sound of air breaking abruptly sounded. The old man, who opened his mouth with difficulty to say something, only saw a flash of white light pass his eyes before he lost consciousness. PLKCH. A throwing dagger penetrated his head. PLKCH. Another throwing dagger penetrated the old woman's head. 4th grade. Under 100 years of heaven trampling true energy cultivation, an ordinary 4th grade was nothing more than this. Swoosh, swoosh. Retracting the 2 throwing daggers, Su Jingxing walked towards the old man and old woman and extracted a card from each person. Then, he held them in his palm and read the descriptions while observing his surroundings. As expected, both cards were bloodline cards. Putting the cards into his palm space, Su Jingxing held his saber and continued moving deeper into the base. Behind him. Kill all the members of the Shi family. Haha, luckily we came in time. Otherwise, there'd be nothing left for us. Old Shi, get out here. Boom, boom, boom. Angry yells, snarls, and explosions sounded constantly. The rest of the convoys had arrived. They rushed into the base and started killing, reaping the gains. At the last secret base, as Su Jingxing was in a hurry to save the girls and had no time to search around, he missed the opportunity to collect the loot. He only had 2 leftover buckets of corpse-dissolving liquid that he brought out from the equipment warehouse left in his palm storage. This time, Su Jingxing was not in a hurry. Naturally, he had time to reap the rewards. Of course, before that, he had to find some people first. Why did the Shi family capture Yi Yunru, Kai Gongxian, Yi Juchong and more but not kill them? Su Jingxing searched with this curiosity. He killed all the guards and sacrificial soldiers he met and extracted cards. Yet, even after Su Jingxing went deep into the base and searched every corner, he still couldn't find where the people were imprisoned. Along the way, he didn't encounter a single expert from the Shi family. It seemed that the old man and old woman were the only 4th grade experts in this base. And they were in charge of everything. The martial artists from the Stone Annihilation Alliance were nowhere to be seen. As if they weren't here to begin with. Su Jingxing refused to believe this. He kept 2 people alive and questioned them on where the captives were locked up. The 2 guards actually answered that they didn't know. You don't know. How can you not know? Su Jingxing exerted strength in his hand and the treasure weapon he had against one of the guard's neck quickly cut open the skin on his neck. Fresh blood flowed out. I really don't know. Big brother, sir, grandfather, I really don't know. The guard's entire body stiffened as he desperately begged for mercy. We're just ordinary guards. The area here isn't under our jurisdiction. Every time there's an important matter, such as certain treasures being stored, the members of the Shi family keep us away. Yes, each ordinary guard is responsible for a different area. Another guard trembled as he added, Sir, even if you kill us, we don't know where the secrets of the base are. Of course, there's a secret place that does exist here, but we don't know where exactly. Only members of the Shi family do. What about those sacrificial soldiers? Su Jingxing continued probing. Sacrificial soldiers. The guard was stunned for a moment before realizing what Su Jingxing was referring to. Sir, you're talking about the people from the Shi King guards, right? They do no more than us, but those people are all brainwashed and only listen to the orders of the Shi family. It's impossible to get them to reveal their secrets, because they will commit S*I immediately. It's not S*I, it's self-destruction. The other guard continued, every member of the Shi King guards possesses a secret ability that allows them to explode their bodies. Once they are caught, or when they know that they are sure to die, they will choose to self-destruct. While seriously injuring their opponents, they will also protect the secrets of the Shi family. They're all crazy. They aren't human. Sir, you must be careful when you meet them. Those guys have a one-track mind and will not give you a chance to react. During the self-destruction, even a 4th grade expert would be injured. Su Jingxing remained silent. Clearly, the style of the Shi King guards was unexpected. It seemed like Su Jingxing had been fast enough the last time he destroyed the Shi family's secret base at Turtleback Mountain. The sacrificial soldiers of the Stone King guards also wanted to stop him and did not self-destruct immediately. Otherwise, if they had planned to plot against the unguarded him, he wouldn't have been able to save the girls so easily. Of course, these 2 guards might still be holding back with the information they had shared, but that was basically everything. Su Jingxing, whose soul power had been significantly boosted, could tell whether or not they were lying. Therefore, that the sacrificial soldiers of the Shi King guards could not be interrogated made things rather troublesome. There was another secret place in the base, but few knew its exact location. What to do? Big brother, no, great sir, look, I've already told you everything. You? The guards smiled stiffly and begged for mercy. Trying to leave. A low shout suddenly sounded. Su Jingxing turned his head and saw 5 people armed with weapons walking towards him with murderous intent. The leader was a burly man with a cold and domineering gaze. As the group of people walked towards Su Jingxing, they shouted, "People from the Shi family, you're thinking of leaving. You're dreaming. And you. He could not bring himself to finish his sentence. The burly man looked at Su Jingxing with shock, fear and wariness in his eyes. What about me? Su Jingxing countered in a low voice. No, nothing. The burly man laughed dryly and waved his hand. We're just passing by. Yes, we're just passing by. Please continue, sir. We'll leave first. With that, he turned around to escape. Yan, who scared you? An aged voice rang out. Another group of people walked over from behind the burly man. The old man leading them narrowed his eyes and stared at the burly man with a shadow of a smile. Fourth Master Li, you came at the right time. The burly man, however, was delighted. Excitement appeared on his face. As he turned around, he pointed at Su Jingxing and introduced him to the old man. Fourth Master Li, this big shot is here too. Didn't you say you wanted to meet him? Now you both have really bumped into each other this time. The old man's expression changed when he heard this. When he got a clear look of Su Jingxing's attire, the corners of his eyes twitched madly. He wanted to retreat, but he realized that Su Jingxing was already looking at him. He quickly stopped and forced a smile. He cupped his hands at Su Jingxing and said, "So it's guest Elder Lin. What a coincidence. I didn't expect you to be here too." What? Guest Elder Lin is also here. Another voice sounded from behind the old man. This time, it was the rough and deep male voice. When he heard the old man's words, his footsteps immediately quickened and he walked over heavily. After a while, a muscular man with resolute features and sharp eyes appeared in front of Su Jingxing. The moment he appeared, he spotted Su Jingxing. His eyes lit up as he cupped his hands from a distance and said, "It's really guest Elder Lin. I didn't expect to meet guest Elder Lin here. This is great. I'm Zhou Wenson from the Zhou family. Greetings, guest Elder Lin. Haha, I am Li Lilu from the Li family. Greetings, guest Elder Lin." The old man quickly added and introduced himself. My name is Yan Yuanfeng. The burly man followed behind and introduced himself. I'm the deputy sect master of the Iron Thread sect. If guest Elder Lin does visit the Iron Thread sect, I'll definitely let you taste the best tea leaves. Just tea leaves. Zhou Wenson glanced at him and chuckled. Don't tell me you can't bear to bring out your Iron Thread silver flower. Of course I can. I'm only doing that when guest Elder Lin comes. Yan Yuanfeng scowled at Zhou Wenson. Then, he looked at Su Jingxing and smiled apologetically. Guest Elder Lin, don't listen to this Zhou fellow sowing discord. Hey, when did I? That's enough. Su Jingxing interrupted their nonsense and said in a low voice, you guys must have come here to rescue people too, right? Su Jingxing had thought wrong previously. He had forgotten that according to the information provided by Shen Qian and the rest, the major factions in Qinghe City had sent many people to visit the Shi family estate at night. In the end, not a single person had returned. These people were most likely captured here just like the martial artists from the Stone Annihilation Alliance. Zhou Wenson, Li Lilu, and Yan Yuanfeng had brought men over firstly, to seize the opportunity to do some looting. And secondly, probably to rescue those people. As for calling Su Jingxing, guest Elder Lin, they had clearly regarded Su Jingxing as a guest elder of Lin Tuoshan's Lin family. Little did they know that Su Jingxing and Lin Tuoshan now had nothing to do with each other after the duel ended. Of course, Su Jingxing didn't clear up this misunderstanding. As soon as he asked this question, Li Lilu and the two others no longer hid anything from one another. Zhou Wenson's expression turned serious. He answered first, that's right. According to the information we received, our men have been captured here, but we don't know where they are being held. They don't know either. Yan Yuanfeng looked at the two guards who were subdued by Su Jingxing. I just interrogated them. They only know that there is a secret place in this base, but they don't know where it is located, Su Jingxing said in a low voice. I also looked around and indeed, I didn't find any holding cells. Li Lilu agreed. Then what should we do? Yan Yuanfeng frowned. Is there an underground chamber here? Definitely. Zhou Wenson nodded and analyzed, there must be one. The key is where is it? Unfortunately, Shi Zhurun and Shi Ziyun are already dead. Li Lilu sighed. Yeah, Those two would certainly know the location. Yan Yuanfeng sighed as well. I wonder who killed them. If you're talking about an old man and an old woman, then I'm sorry, I killed them, Su Jingxing said calmly. Ah. The corners of Yan Yuanfeng's eyes twitched. He stood awkwardly on the spot again. He did not know if he should cry or laugh. Li Lilu and Zhou Wensun weren't surprised. Su Jingxing had even killed Helian Shuizhen and Ji Min. So what was Shi Zhirun and Shi Ziyun to him? If not for the fact that Su Jingxing was powerful, why would the two of them, both fourth grades, keep him company and speak to him so politely? It was because they knew how powerful Su Jingxing was, so they wanted to see if they could rope him into their family clan. Li Lilu and Zhou Wensun each had their own plans. Only, they did not share them out loud or show it on their faces. We don't know the location, this is troublesome. Boom. A deafening sound suddenly came from the corridor on the right side of the corner where they were. Accompanying the sound was the shaking of the floor and ceiling. A strong smell of blood soon followed. Li Lilu and Zhou Wensun's expressions changed drastically when they caught the scent. Not good. With that, the two of them pushed off their toes and flew towards the corridor that was the source of the commotion. Their men quickly followed behind. What's going on? Yan Yuanfeng was confused. Su Jingxing ignored him and also joined them in a flash. Hey, wait for me. Yan Yuanfeng shouted and followed behind. His men ran behind him. The group had just rushed into the corridor. Boom. Another loud crash shook the ceiling and floor again. This time, after the crash, an excited laughter came from the depths of the passageway. Ha ha ha, it's a success, it's a success. PLKCH. There was a strange sound and the laughter was cut off abruptly. Li Lilu, Zhou Wensun, and Su Jingxing were the fastest. When they arrived at the source of the sound, they saw a large hole in the ground. A tall figure covered in blood reached out and grabbed a unibrow man. A sharp claw pierced through his chest. Shi Jinlin. Shi Zini. How is this possible? Zhou Wensun and Li Lilu exclaimed. Shi Zini, Shi Jinlin, what are they? Swoosh. Before Su Jingxing could finish speaking, a cold, bloodthirsty, crazy, and fanatical gaze swept towards the opening where Zhou Wensun, Li Lilu, and Su Jingxing stood. Boom. A loud bang interrupted Zhou Wensun's words. It was the owner of the bloodthirsty gaze, the tall figure covered in blood. His aura burst forth and turned into a blood-colored pillar of light as he dashed towards the opening. As for the unibrow man whose chest was pierced through, he shattered into a dozen pieces with a loud bang. Boom. The air exploded and the ground blew up. Su Jingxing took multiple steps back, and Zhou Wensun and Li Lilu did the same. They both used their lightness skills to dodge the blood-colored pillar. Although the latter missed, it charged out of the cave and buried into the ceiling of the corridor, creating a huge pit immediately. Countless gravel mixed with powder scattered in the corridor. Roar. A beast-like roar resounded throughout the base before the dust settled. Su Jingxing released his true energy and swept away the dust. What he saw was a tall figure covered in blood coming down from the ceiling and standing in the corridor. His body was surrounded by a fierce and tyrannical aura. A long blood-colored snake. No, a lifelike blood-colored long wyrm coiled and twisted around the tall figure as it emitted boundless blood energy. Under this blood energy, Su Jingxing felt as if a mountain was pressing down on his chest, making it difficult for him to breathe. His blood was surging. His limbs trembled uncontrollably, but his body remained stiff on the spot, unable to move at all. Fear that he had never felt before struck his heart. Danger. Extreme danger. Facing this blood-colored wyrm, a shiver that came from the depths of his soul crawled into Su Jingxing's heart with everything. It was so stimulating that his entire body trembled and his mind went blank. While he was sincerely terrified, his survival instincts made him visualize a secret ability in his mind. The demonic heaven trampling elephant diagram. This was the last mental secret ability recorded in the secret manual of the 9 steps trampling heaven by the Wei ancestors. Su Jingxing had only simulated it in his mind and never tested it out. The reason was that his soul power was insufficient. But at this moment, in the face of the terrifying might of the blood-colored flood dragon, fear came from the depths of his soul. The demonic heaven trampling elephant diagram automatically circulated, mobilizing little soul power to visualize the heaven trampling elephant in his mind. In the end, Su Jingxing only heard a short elephant trumpet. He didn't even manage to visualize a vague image of the heaven trampling elephant before he felt a sharp pain in his brain and regained consciousness. Even though he had failed, this clarity allowed Su Jingxing to leave the fear of the blood-colored Wyrm and regain control of his body. As soon as he regained freedom, he threw a punch at the tall figure covered in blood. The true energy cultivated circulated was 200 years. The strength amplified by the 100 steps raining fist was fully unleashed, stacking with each step. In an instant, a force of more than 200,000 caddies broke through the air, triggering a loud bang. In a flash, it ruthlessly collided with the tall figure that was about to pounce towards Su Jingxing. The terrifying power shattered the figure's surrounding energy in an instant. Then, it struck the tall figure and forcefully tore apart the blood-colored Wyrm dragon that coiled around his body. Bam! Accompanied by an angry roar, the crimson Wyrm exploded, transforming into countless streams of blood-red energy that surged into the surroundings, shattering the air and blowing up the walls. The tall figure was pushed forward as well. He flew backward at lightning speed and crashed through multiple walls. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening explosions were continuously heard along with the dust that rose. Until the sounds faded and stopped completely, the huge base then regained some of its vitality. Moments later, screams, wails, growls, and moans could be heard from every corner. Su Jingxing leaned against the wall in exhaustion, his heart beating fast. Thump, thump, thump. For the first time in his life, Su Jingxing felt that listening to his own heartbeat was such a wonderful feeling. Thank you. More than 10 meters away, Zhou Wenchen leaned against the wall and looked at Su Jingxing. As he thanked him, he panted heavily. Li Lilu was more or less in the same state. He was panting like an ox and there was still fear lingering on his face. Martial art true intent. Shi Zini, actually condensed martial art true intent. He actually successfully advanced to 3rd grade. 3rd grade. Martial art true intent. No, he hasn't. Yan Yuanfeng's voice rang out. He, who was still in shock, slowly walked out from behind Su Jingxing, Li Lilu, and Zhou Wensen. Shi Zini hasn't reached the 3rd grade yet. The martial art true intent of that blood-colored Wyrm was not completely solid either. If it was, the martial art true intent wouldn't be shattered so easily. As he spoke, agitation appeared on Yan Yuanfeng's face. He looked at Su Jingxing with a fanatical gaze and said excitedly, "Of course, this doesn't affect guest Elder Lin. Although Shi Zini isn't a true 3rd grade, he's still invincible among 4th grade martial artists. Guest Elder Lin was able to shatter his martial art true intent with a single punch and send Shi Zini flying 100 meters out. Even if the power of this punch isn't as strong as 3rd grade martial artists, it isn't much inferior." That's right. We owe it to guest Elder Lin. Otherwise, we would have already died in the hands of Shi Zini, Zhou Wensen said gratefully again. I was defending myself too. Su Jingxing spoke in a low voice. His eyes flickered as he looked in the direction of the hole where the tall figure covered in blood disappeared into. This tall figure was also the previous patriarch of the Shi family, Shi Zini. Su Jingxing's heart raced. Su Jingxing had a very deep impression of this formidable man who had single-handedly built up the Shi family to become the top family clan of the Western District. He probably wouldn't be able to forget him in the short term. He's not dead. Su Jingxing lowered his voice. This previous patriarch of the Shi family is in a very strange state. The Shi Jinlin that you people just called out to earlier had died in his hands. That's right, Shi Zini killed Shi Jinlin. If I'm not mistaken, he has suffered a qi deviation. Li Lilu took a deep breath and said. What? Shi Zini killed Shi Jinlin? Yan Yuanfeng cried out in alarm. Isn't Shi Jinlin his son? Did the old man take the wrong medicine? He even killed his own son. Even if he has suffered qi deviation, he shouldn't have become like this. Qi deviation? Su Jingxing raised his eyebrows. I already said that he has suffered from qi deviation. Shi Zini has lost his rationality. He doesn't recognize Shi Jinlin. In his mind right now, there's only madness, killing, and bloodthirst, Zhou Wensen said angrily. Under such circumstances, there's nothing surprising that Shi Jinlin appeared beside him and was killed by him. It's completely expected. Yan Yuanfeng smacked his lips. You all seem to know that something will happen to Shi Zini. Su Jingxing asked. That's right. Guest Elder Lin is unaware, but our families have always been wary of the Shi family. The problem lies with Shi Zini. Li Lilu took a deep breath and said seriously, that old bastard Shi Zini has always wanted to replace my Li family and become the #1 martial arts family in Qinghe City. In order to achieve this goal, he will do anything. A few years ago, we received news that we didn't know whether was true or not. Shizini had obtained a heretic art. Heretic art? Yan Yuanfeng exclaimed. How come I don't know? Li Lilu ignored him and continued. Shizini seemed to have obtained a heretic art. It was rumored that it could allow him to advance to the 3rd grade. In order to verify the authenticity of this news, we sent many people to infiltrate the Shi family to gather information, but we never found anything. It wasn't until this time, when all of our people were captured and brought to this secret base, that I was 90% certain that Shizini had indeed cultivated a heretic art. When I heard that loud crash and caught the strong scent of blood, I further confirmed that Shizini had succeeded in doing so. However, it was a little unexpected that he would suffer from chi deviation. But on second thought, it made sense. How could it be possible for a heretic art that depends on using a large amount of blood to be successfully cultivated and bring one to the 3rd grade to be completely risk-free? Including martial art true intent, Zhou Wenson added. The martial art true intent condensed through cultivating heretic art might be stronger, but correspondingly, it's also harder to control. Martial art true intent. Shizini succeeded. A clear voice sounded. Li Linzhou, Wang Taidao, a muscular man, and a woman with a large leopard cat beside her walked down the corridor where Su Jingxing, Li Lilu, and the others were. Qi Xinju, 4th Sister Qi. Zhao Zongyi, Chief Zhao. And Commander Li, Boss Wang, you're finally here. Yan Yuanfeng turned his head and looked at them. He grinned and said, you guys missed the good show just now. It's such a pity. As for Shizini, that's right. He condensed martial art true intent, but in the end, it was shattered by a single punch from guest Elder Lin. Li Linzhou, Wang Taidao, and the others lifted their heads and looked at Su Jingxing in surprise. It's true. Seeing this, Li Lilu chimed in, Shizini has advanced to the 3rd grade, but his realm is not stable. The martial art true intent condensed is also not complete and could dissipate at any time. Most importantly, he advanced to the pseudo 3rd grade through cultivating a heretic art. Even though he made a breakthrough, he has also suffered chi deviation. Chi deviation. HMPH, good. The muscular man, Zhao Zongyi, sneered. Unexpected, so unexpected. Wang Taidao sighed. Where is he now? Li Linzhou frowned. How is Shizini doing? There, it's in the deepest part over there. Yan Yuanfeng turned around slightly and pointed at the large hole in the wall that Shizini had made. This was created by guest Elder Lin. He raised his eyebrows. Guest Elder Lin destroyed his martial art true intent with a single punch and sent Shizini flying. He's most likely lying unconscious in the ruins. No, he's here. Su Jingxing tensed up. Li Lilu, Zhou Wenson, Wang Taidao, Zhao Zongyi and the rest also felt their hearts racing. Li Linzhou immediately pulled out a long sword that was like water. He aimed at the hole and released streaks of sword energy. Swish, swish, swish. Sword energy tore through the air, heading straight for the depths of the hole. Move, everyone else, quickly leave this place. With a solemn expression, Li Lilu ordered his men to leave quickly. Yes, yes, everyone, retreat immediately. Yan Yuanfeng snapped back and called for his men to leave the base. In the pseudo 3rd grade, even if his foundation was unstable from just making the breakthrough, the strength he possessed was not something that martial artists in the lower ranks could resist. Even for 6th grade or 5th grade martial artists, few would be able to withstand it. Su Jingxing was different. He was an exception. The existence of a cheat ability was not something others could compare to. Shizini had suffered chi deviation. He had lost all rationality and was bloodthirsty and violent. To be honest, there was no need for Su Jingxing to fight him head-on. However, if this previous patriarch of the Shi family were to regain consciousness and sought revenge on him, he would be in deep trouble. Other than a few Shi descendants who were still alive, the rest of the Shi family was almost completely wiped out by him. Once Shizini sobered up, he would definitely seek revenge. Finding Su Jingxing was within expectation. Although Su Jingxing had disguised his appearance and never showed his face, no one could guarantee that he would always be safe. The best way was to nip the problem in the bud. In other words, Shizini must die. Now that there were so many people, if they attacked together, there was a high chance that they would be able to kill this martial artist in the pseudo 3rd grade. After all, Li Lilu, Zhou Wenson, Wang Taidao, Yan Yuanfeng, Zhao Zongyi, Qi Xinju, and Li Linzhou all had a reason to kill him. Although Li Linzhou was the commander of city governance of Qinghai City's Martial Suppression Office, he didn't seem to have any grudges with the Shi family. Yet, on the contrary, once Shi Zini regained consciousness, Li Linzhou would be the first person he kills. This was because Li Linzhou had approved the Lin family's dual application against the Shi family. If Li Linzhou wasn't the referee, the Shi family wouldn't have bothered with Lin Tuoshan. The Shi family suffered heavy casualties, and Li Linzhou had a part in it. Under such circumstances, would Shi Zini let Li Linzhou off? Impossible. Whether it was for himself, or to safeguard the stability in Qinghe City, Li Linzhou had to kill Shi Zini. Thus, there was no need to say anything, no need to signal with their eyes. The seven of them made their decision at the same time. Get rid of Shi Zini. Let's go outside. Li Lilu's expression changed when he saw a tall figure stepping out from the ruins. He shouted in a low voice. We can only join forces against him if we go outside. As soon as he finished speaking, he retreated swiftly towards the exit of the base. Zhou Wensun, Yan Yuanfeng, Wang Taidao, Qi Xinju and the rest followed closely behind. Su Jingxing thought for a moment and also moved towards the exit. There were too many passageways in the base, the area of activity was limited, it was disadvantageous for the encirclement. It would be easier to kill Shi Zini if they went to the open area outside. Everyone knew this. Because of this, everyone quickly left the base. Roar. Almost at the same time, a beast-like roar resounded throughout the mountain. Boom. The sound of air exploding came from the base. The group had just left the base and were waiting outside. Hearing this roar, everyone's expressions changed. Qi deviation. Shi Zini was still in a state of qi deviation. In this state, he feels no pain, no emotions, only knows killing. Surrounding and killing him was undoubtedly the most difficult. But in this situation, they had to take action. Roar. The roar echoed throughout the mountain peak. Boom. With a loud bang, the ground shook. While everyone watched, Shi Zini, who was covered in blood with a crimson-red wyrm coiling around him, appeared once more. That's right, Shi Zini had manifested the martial art true intent shattered by Su Jingxing again. Chapter 130, 10 Punches. It was not possible for a force like martial art true intent to be completely shattered, unless the martial artist controlling it was dead. As long as the martial artist did not die, no matter how many times it was shattered, it could reappear. Of course, it was not that simple to repeatedly manifest martial art true intent. The reason was because every time it shattered, the martial artist's mind, will, and spirit would suffer a heavy blow. If the shattering were to happen multiple times, the person would collapse. Moreover, each time it re-manifests, the interval required would range from as long as 1 to 2 days to at least an hour. This was related to the martial artist's mental strength. Those with strong mental power require short intervals, and the martial art true intent would also last longer after being manifested. Conversely, it would be weak. Shi Zini's martial art true intent had only been shattered by Su Jingxing for less than 10 minutes, yet it had re-manifested so quickly. It could be imagined just how much his mental strength had expanded. For others, one instance of their martial art true intent shattering in their minds, wills, and spirits would be severely damaged. Shi Zini did not need to. No, it was more accurate to say that in his qi deviation, he did not sense all that. There was no pain, no fear, no rationality, only a crazed desire for blood. In this state, martial art true intent could naturally be retracted and released at will. Roar. The snarls of Shi Zini, who charged out of the entrance of the base, echoed through the forest. The seemingly corporeal blood-colored wyrm once again unleashed a terrifying blood aura. The invisible pressure crashed through the air, spreading out in all directions with Shi Zini at its center, extending over 100 meters. Whoosh. Swoosh. Li Linzhou, Yan Yuanfeng, Li Lilu, Zhou Wensun, and the others didn't need to be reminded. They used their lightness skills and quickly moved away from Shi Zini. Among them, Qi Xinju, who rode a large leopard cat, was the fastest. Without leaving behind any afterimages, only the sound of rushing wind could be heard as the man and beast shot out hundreds of meters away. Compared to them, Su Jingxing was much simpler. He didn't remain on the ground but charged straight into the air. After executing the 8 steps rising dragon, his entire body turned into a dragon-shaped trail and soared hundreds of meters into the sky. Stopping in the air, he did not rest and directly circulated 100 years of his true energy cultivation into his right hand and began executing the 100 steps raining fist. From a high vantage point, he dived down, locking onto Shi Zini and punched out. Boom. An explosion louder than a sonic boom reverberated in all directions. The silvery black fist imprint carrying a million caddies of strength rushed towards Shizini under the acceleration of gravity. Roar. On the ground, Shizini seemed to sense something as he roared towards the sky. His scarlet eyes locked onto the fist imprint. Bang! The earth shook. Countless cracks appeared beneath Shizini's feet. Shizini, who had the blood-red WYRM wrapped around him, didn't dodge or show any fear. Rather, he directly faced the fist imprint and shot into the air. A shockwave erupted, and dust flew everywhere. Shizini, which had transformed into a blood-colored beam of light, carried a torrential sanguine suppression as he clashed with the descending fist imprint in midair. Boom! A heavy blast echoed through the sky. Under the tearing of the martial art true intent, the silvery black fist imprint did not dissipate immediately. Instead, it collided with the blood-colored WYRM, causing it to flicker. In the end, it shattered with a crash. The shockwave produced swept through the air and ground. In the sky, a vortex that was like a hurricane swept through all the cloud layers and spread out for over a kilometer. On the ground, the trees on the entire mountain were rustling, lifting countless fallen leaves that danced wildly in the forest and flew everywhere. Shizini was struck down by the massive force the same way he charged into the sky. The heavy force smashed into the ground, creating a deep pit about 4 to 5 meters deep. Beyond its diameters of a dozen meters, long cracks that twisted sinisterly like pythons were seen. Swoosh! Swoosh! Qi Shinju, Li Linzhou, Li Lilu, and the rest who had retreated, returned as expected. As Shizini stood up at the bottom of the pit and prepared to charge into the sky again, they released their true energy. Sword energy, saber energy, palm imprints, fist imprints. All sorts of attacks rained down on Shizini at once. Shizini, who did not have any martial art true intent protecting him, was sent staggering from the impact. He roared in anger. His already bare upper body was covered in lacerations and dripping with blood. Clearly, his physical body had not been strengthened by the heretic art and was only as strong as it was before. In the face of the joint attacks, he lost his ability to resist after a few moves. But soon, a brand new blood-red WYRM appeared again, coiling around Shizini and releasing terrifying blood energy. Swoosh! Whoosh! The party decisively retreated. They dodged the terrifying pressure of the martial art true intent. In the air, Su Jingxing stepped on air and also rose several hundred meters back up. Then, he mobilized 100 years of cultivation again and sent another punch towards Shizini through the 100 steps raining fist. Bang! 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 The punch landed and the air exploded throughout the way. The fist that carried a million caddies of strength, under the boost of the acceleration of gravity, struck Shizini, who had escaped the pit once again. Boom! With a loud explosion, the blood-colored WYRM surrounding Shizini shattered and dissipated. As for Shizini himself, he was knocked back into the pit by the remaining force of the punch, and fell more than a meter deeper than before. The number of cracks at the edge of the pit doubled, becoming even more dense and numerous. Swoosh! Whoosh! Li Linzhou, Qi Shinju, Li Lilu, and the others swiftly rushed back. Roar! Shizini, who had broken bones, torn flesh, and blood all over his body, snarled as he rushed out from the pit. However, before he could exert his strength, sword energy, saber energy, palm imprints, fist imprints. Various attacks poured down onto his body once more, adding more wounds to his body and causing blood to spurt further. Shizini, who felt no pain, roared again and again as the blood-colored WYRM manifested once more. Swoosh! Whoosh! Li Linzhou, Yan Yuanfeng, Qi Shinju, and the others saw this and continued to retreat. By the time Shizini completely manifested the blood-red WYRM, Su Jingxing had already smashed his fist down. It still contained a million caddies of strength. Under the acceleration of gravity, it ruthlessly struck Shizini, shattering his martial art true intent and throwing him back to the bottom of the pit, making it even deeper. Roar! Shizini roared and struggled out of the pit. Swoosh! Swoosh! Li Linzhou and company quickly returned. Another wave of attacks sliced off one of Shizini's legs and hands. Once Shizini was about to manifest his martial art true intent, the group would retreat in advance. On the other hand, Su Jingxing, who was in the air, would circulate 100 years of cultivation to drop a punch. Boom! Roar! Boom! Roar! One punch after another, again and again. In the state of chi deviation, Shizini endured a full 10 times before he finally stopped breathing. In the end, under Su Jingxing's attacks, all that was left of his martial art true intent was a silhouette. Shizini himself had also been reduced to a human staff. Only his remaining head and half of the upper body were connected. Inferior Bloodseeker corpse discovered. Would you like to extract it?